Hi everyone, just in my usual spot for another talk. Before I go ahead, just to say I've really been enjoying the videos from Tina and Mary, and I really so bad with names. I forgot your name. The one you did with the tree ritual. You're talking about your childhood and psychopaths. That was really really inspirational. It reminded me a little bit of a Stephen King novel, to be honest with you. I remember reading it when I was like, I think 18, 19, and something about childhood, and they encounter that evil entity as children, and they forget, don't they, and then they remember, and it kind of brought that to mind. Anyway, change of topic. I always wanted to do this. I wanted to make a series of videos on my personal, call it supernatural encounters if you want, and I'm going to do them. I'm going to kind of like do them kind of randomly when I feel it's the right time to do them. I mentioned it briefly on a few of my other videos. I had encounters as a child. I frequently interacted with, I think, 2 entities, and this was before I was 5. I don't know if any of you guys have had similar things happen to you. I'm sure you have, and I've never really shared it. I've never gone public with it. The ones I had as a child, the really intense ones, I'll leave that definitely for another time. But I'm just going to break the ice here. I'm going to talk about just one I had in my 30s, and a little one I had as a child as well. That's just very fleeting. I definitely remember it, and it's very similar to the one I had when I was 30 as well. So briefly, the one I had, this was definitely before I was 5, because it was the first house I remember. This is where the other ones happened as well. But basically, what I saw, my dad was tucking me into bed, and the curtains were drawn. The room was dark, but I could see, everything around me. And I saw what looked like kind of like a vehicle, a small vehicle, maybe a foot wide, with like a little man in it. It's like, if you remember the Muppets show and something called Fraggle Rock. This is like UK English TV. These things were big in the 80s. It looked like a little Fraggle or a little puppet inside, and it was sitting in this vehicle, and it was driving up my curtain. And the weird thing was, it was making like a humming electrical sound, and like it had a little motor in there. And it was moving in a very slow, fixed fashion, like it was locked onto a track that I couldn't see. So the more I think of it now, it's almost like it was, I don't know, existing in another dimension, and it was just, I basically managed to catch it. And where it was maybe doing something else, but it appeared to be literally driving up my curtain. And I freaked out, and I murmured, and my dad came in the room to see if I was all right, and I think I was pointing at the curtain, and he couldn't see what was there. But it was the electrical sound that was happening, that was really coming off it. I think that was the one of the things that frightened me the most. This only happened, it was literally there for maybe 5 seconds, maybe less, and then it disappeared. And it was as often these things are, when I see them, they're often, or nearly always, to the top right of my vision. I'd call it peripheral vision, apparently. And I did a little research, and when people see these things, if you've seen them, you probably have. It's in your peripheral kind of vision. Don't know much about it, but it makes sense. It's kind of like the corner of your eye. When I've seen these things, you're kind of in that state of being, what they call half asleep, half awake. I know Thomas talks about that quite a lot. It's that kind of that state where you can observe the I guess the spirit realm. You know, sleep paralysis, I think that's the same thing. So that was when I was could do another video on that, I think, in detail, but that was when I was very, very young, like before I was 5. And skipping forward, when I was in my 30s, I went through a phase where I just wanted to start meditating. I kind of watched videos on it, and I wanted to see if I could benefit from meditating. The main reason I was doing it was because I wanted to start to see things again, and I wanted to was quite interested in what you call out of body kind of astral projection type stuff. So that's why I kind of got into that. I got results pretty quickly, within a matter of weeks. First thing I noticed was I started lucid dreaming, and then other things happened. But the main method I kind of just made up for myself was literally just staring into a candle wick, into the wick of a lit candle. I just had tea leaf candles, and then what I did was just balanced them on some books on the floor, propped myself up against my bed, folded my legs, and just with the lights out in the room with my curtains drawn, just focus on that candle. And also just focusing on the sensations in my body. So if I had my hands clasped together, I'd focus on the sensation of that, because immediately I've had sensations in my hands, like electrical sensations in my hands, and I can easily kind of bring that on even when I'm walking now, just by focus. That happened kind of immediately, as well as ringing sounds in my ears, high-pitched ringing sounds and tones. That would happen. Other electrical kind of sensations, kind of fairly mild through my body. This is when I'd be meditating, which is interesting because there's connections to when I was a boy, you know, as I mentioned in my room. Before a lot of these things happened, I would hear a ringing sound, and I think I would feel electrical sensations in my body as well as other things. So I think I maybe activated some of the I think natural gifts I had as a kid. I think most of us do. Certainly those with souls, I think we are naturally inclined that way. It just gets shut down a bit, doesn't it, when we're educated and we go to school, or our parents tell us that it's make believe and stuff like that. But yeah, so it didn't take me long to get results, and I'll just leave you with one of the things I saw. I think it must have been, I started doing that probably in my maybe 31. I went for a few years of doing it, so I was maybe like 31, 33 or something. A lot of the crazy stuff happened at work, believe it or not, because I work night shifts. You see, I do kind of a lot of security work. So, and this is quite interesting actually. Basically, I was on my own. I was sitting on the computer chair near a PC computer. The CCTV camera's going, and I was kind of nodding off. It was kind of, I don't know, maybe it was, I can't remember what time it was. It was probably early in the morning, like 1, 2 or something. I was nodding off, and I kind of came to, and then again was in that in between phase of wakefulness and unconsciousness, call it the sleep paralysis mode. But I could see the room around me, and then out the corner of my eye again, top right, kind of right about here, I saw what was, well, basically a large tarantula about the size of my hand, and it was crawling in the air. Again, it could have, like, it was it could have been crawling on a branch that I couldn't see, you know. It was thick. It was not a, because some people report seeing kind of other spider-like beings, but they've got really, really long, gangly legs, and they're often kind of like a black colour. And this thing was not. This thing was very bulky, just like a tarantula, and it was a dirty orange colour, like a rich, dirty orange colour. And I saw it and I was surprised, but I wasn't frightened. I don't get frightened of this stuff anymore. And what happened, I think I got excited because I was seeing it, you see, because I was like, oh wow, you know, all this stuff, this meditation's working. I'm really am seeing things. And it disappeared in front of me. But what happened was, you probably all saw the Predator film with Schwarzenegger, right? The alien itself, it has this camouflage technology, doesn't it, where it presses a button, a device on its forearm, and then it kind of like, it goes transparent, it goes like a milky transparent, and then it disappears. Well, this thing appeared to do that. It appeared to almost go, yeah, like a milky transparent, until I saw what just looked like nerve endings moving. And then it completely disappeared. This happened probably about 5 seconds, maybe less. And what came to mind like a few days later was I was watching Miles Johnson from Bases. That's quite a popular thing in the UK. I don't know, maybe you've come across Miles Johnson's Bases work. He interviews people with paranormal UFO experience and stuff like that. It's pretty good. Some of it is a little, I don't know, a little too ET kind of. I think the people are, I think they're general experiences, but I think they're a little misguided into maybe what they're experiencing. But anyway, I think it's worth a watch. And he was talking about his experience with what he called scuttlers. And he said he saw these spider kind of beings, these scuttlers, around electrical equipment. Some, you know, and they weren't just spiders, they were some kind of interdimensional being. And he said from other people's interviews who saw the same thing, that they are often around electrical equipment, which is interesting because they were right above my my PC at work. So maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they're harvesting the energy from the electrical equipment. They might be quite harmless, but I just find it fascinating. I think there's so much more life out there, interdimensional life. So I just thought I'd kind of use that as to kind of break the ice as a little video. I've got dozens of little kind of encounters like that I had as an adult, and then of course as a child I had some more intense ones that were more personal to me. Whatever these things were doing, they must have been doing it for a reason. They must have been communicating to me for a reason. Maybe I always assumed they were very malevolent, you know, and bad, but it could be my interpretation of them. You know, maybe as a child who didn't understand, maybe they were maybe I had connections to them in previous lives or even previous existence where I wasn't human. I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't surprise me, you know. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have had similar experiences. If you haven't, don't matter, but yeah, just please feel free to just give your comments, tell me what you think, and just, you know, feel free to share any similar experiences you've had. Okay, right, that's enough for now. Yeah, I'll give it a few days. I've already got some ideas for another video, and then on top of that, I'd like to do these little videos separately of my own, you know, paranormal experiences and topics like that. Okay, all right, that's enough for now. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys. Cheers, everyone. Thanks.